فاسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون.
فاسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون.
Another thing which I thought was an outdated cliche from the atheists was that religions cause war and evil. Well, let's hold our horses a bit, okay? 70 million people under Chairman Mao. That's a hell of a lot of people. Dead, by the way. 20 million people died under Stalin, 6 million of them being Christians. 2 million people no longer exist because of Pol Pot. 700,000 innocent Iraqis in the occupation, 500 Iraqi children in the 10-year sanctions, World War I, World War II, the Vietnam War, the mass murder of newborn baby girls in China, an irreligious state, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, the ethnic cleansing of Tibetans, Palestinians, Chechens, etc., all done not in the name of God, but in the name of irreligious, secular ideologies. So I think it's quite unfair for that claim to come across as an outdated cliche, something that Richard Dawkins always pronounces. And the other thing about human leaders, you say when human leaders have religiosity, there's a problem. Well, I disagree with you. Maybe Bush, but I think he was deluded. The point I'm trying to make is, look at the Islamic history. I agree now, Islam is not implemented comprehensively in the Muslim world. But when you look into the past, we solved the problem of anti-Semitism. It was the Muslims. Now you have a secular, oppressive state. They don't know where to go. They're actually killing people in international waters, for God's sake. But what did the Muslims do? I mean, let's go read our history. What does Zion Zohar say? Zion Zohar is a contemporary Jewish historian. He said, and thus when the Muslims crossed the Straits of Gibraltar in the Iberian Peninsula, the Jews saw them as liberators from Christian persecution. So you have a whole narrative of Jewish contemporary scholars saying, you know what? The solution, we need to look into our history. So we have an epistemic duty to read about Islamic history. Now, you also said about the problem of evil, and I think the problem of evil is actually a problem for the atheist. Because the problem of evil assumes moral properties. It assumes that evil is actually objective and real. And if that is the case, then God exists. I'll tell you why. Because God is the only ontological, the grounding for objective morality. So if you're assuming that evil is really true, then God must exist, because there's nothing else in absence of God that provides that rational grounding. Well, you may say evolution and social pressure. Well, let's talk about these things. Evolution, what does it say? We're just accidental byproducts of a lengthy evolutionary process. Your morals, your belief that killing Jews is bad, actually has evolved just like your toenails and your teeth. This is why Michael Rule, the philosopher of science, he says morality is a biological adaptation, no less our hands, feet, and teeth. And then he continues, morality is just an aid to survival and reproduction, and any deeper meaning is illusory. Now, if atheists really believe in the evolutionary paradigm, they should all practice polygamy. Because if it's all about aid and reproduction, then have more wives. Then you be true to your own beliefs. Then you won't be accusing the Muslims for doing the wrong things in the first place. So let's go to social pressure. Can social pressure provide an objective grounding for morality? No, it can't, because what's social pressure? Social pressure differs and changes, and I agree with you. And this is why, if social pressure is true, then we have to say, actually, that killing 6 million Jews is good, if we agree with social pressure, because there was a consensus at that time in the 1940s to kill 6 million Jews. So you've assumed moral properties here, and I'm going to go in the Q&A more into why the problem of evil is actually a problem for the atheist and not for the theist.
سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.